Hello there, making a video. Thought I would summarize a few things today. Yeah, there's a lot of different things I could talk about, really. Um, I'm God, and people seem to be, um, well, yeah, the battle continues, doesn't it? It just keeps going. Um, yeah, there are people who will who are uh, totally opposed to me. See, the thing is about me is that people, um, yeah, I mean, how do I start this? So, there are people who are accusing me of stealing their content. Well, obviously, they don't mention my name or who I am or, whose Facebook page they're looking at. But, yeah, they don't mention that. But, yeah, um, there are people who are conspiring. There are multiple tarot readers who will work together in order to, they'll use each other. They'll work together to try to attack me. And so, sometimes I spot that there seems to be like people who are working in pairs against me. Um, as an example. Um, yeah. Um, Yeah, and they wanna talk about intellectual property, as if I've stolen something from them because I shared their video on Facebook. Um, so what happened to me was in 2019, I got attacked by demons, and, um, and then something happened. Uh, yeah, what happened was, well, before I got attacked by, physically attacked by demons, um and what I mean by that is when I say physically attacked by demons, I mean ghosts that were physically attacking my body, um, to the point where I actually felt what they were doing to my body. I thought I was going to die at the time. I didn't think, I was terrified. I didn't know what was going to happen. And that was back then. I didn't know that I'm God. I didn't know, but I found out. Because what happened to me, I knew. I was like, okay, so who can I talk to about this? Who can I talk to about it? I don't know anyone I could talk to about it, and I tried talking to people about it. I tried talking about it, and people laughed and mocked and insulted me, and people didn't want to hear it. So I was, I'd been attacked by demons, and really crazy things had happened to me, and I had no one to talk to about it. Um, so, and I've seen things with my eyes that you would not believe. Very scary things. Um, yeah, things that would make your eyes pop out your head, basically, make your head explode, that sort of thing. If you know what I'm saying. Um, yeah. So, and at that time, at that time, I was going on YouTube, and back in 2019, and it was as if there were people that I was listening to, um, and they weren't tarot readers. They were just regular, just average YouTube, um, uh, YouTube accounts. There was a guy. His channel is called George Bruno, and he changed his channel name to it's called, um, I think it was, what's it called? Listen, My Son. That's the name of his channel now. He's a he's an old guy he's a barber guy, basically. Um, anyways, and it was like he was having a direct conversation with me. I was like, hang on a minute. It was like he was talking to me through the screen. It was as if we were having like a Zoom call or something like that. I just like, what the fuck's going on? Like, yeah. Well, yeah. I try not to use the word fuck. Okay. But yeah. I at the time it was like, what's going on? Like it was like we were having a Zoom call. And at that time I didn't know, I'd never heard of the term evil eye. I'd never known about that. And and I just felt like my computer had been hacked. I felt like I was being attacked. I felt like the world was after me, and I didn't really know what to do. And I was trying to figure it out. And obviously, what happened to me, I thought to myself, yeah, this doesn't normally happen to people. I don't know anyone who could tell me that this has happened to them. Um, and and when I saw demons, when I saw, there was no question in my mind that, okay, I've gone from being a guy who's been reading the Bible to a guy who's seeing demons now. So what do I make of this? What's happening to me? Um, and what am I going to do about it? And, and I just had to keep going. Um, and eventually I figured out who I am. And that took time. That didn't happen in a day. In fact, um, at first I thought, am I an angel? And then I thought I was Archangel Michael. And then I got to the idea that I'm Jesus. And then I got to the idea that I'm God. And that Jesus and God are the same person. I'm God, and I was Jesus Christ. Um, so what do I want to talk about? Um, See, there are people. I mean, there are people. Let me go. So some of the things that some of these tarot readers have been talking about, they treat me like I'm some crazy wizard warlock guy who's trying to ruin people's lives. Um, the reason why there was a big earthquake in Venezuela, the reason why there's 60,000 plus people missing is because of me. It's because of me, and it's because of the fact that there are the world does not want to cooperate with me. This has this is the book of the book of Revelation. Okay, if you've read the book of Revelation, we're going through these things. Okay, things that are mentioned in the Bible. Okay, we're talking about end times events. And so the thing is that the world doesn't want to give me justice. Um, there are a lot of people that want to get in my way. Um, you know, for instance, Linda Likes Tarot. She set on her website Occult Lifestyle. She sells all these products. Shaman's Dawn candles and Shaman's Dawn sprays and stuff like that. Um, she sells Shaman's Dawn spirit spray, or focus spray, or prosperity spray, or healing spray, and candles and stuff like that. What's a shaman? Well, you see, I'm a man, and these people, what they do is they try to shame me. Yeah, they shame man. I'm God, right? And they want to sit there and call themselves shamans and pretend like they haven't been attacking me. And like I said, with the evil eye, or the in 20 from 2019, it's like I go on a YouTube video and it's like we're almost having a Zoom call or something like that. It's and it's like, how's this happening? Like, why is this happening? And obviously I figured out it's demons that are trying to fight with me. um and it's uh Yeah, demons who want to fight with me, they want to battle with me. It's they're trying to siphon my energy. They're doing spell work against me. Um, there are a lot of demons that want to see me die. They want to see me lose everything. Um, and people on YouTube have been talking about me, saying bad. They've been mimicking me, impersonating me, trying to steal my stories. They're trying to, they keep. Well, that's the thing. They're spying on me. Through, it's remote viewing, it's astral traveling, or whatever you want to call it, right? There's all that in getting demons to spy on me, and these people working together, and because they don't love Jesus, they don't love God, and so what comes out of their mouths is evil, and it gets recorded and it gets uploaded to YouTube or TikTok or Patreon or wherever, right? Um, and now people, because I expose people, they want to say that I'm stealing their content and that I've breached their intellectual property rights or whatever. And it's like, what? And what about me? Like, what you're doing to me, you're trying to steal, you're trying to mimic, impersonate, you talk shit about me, you attack me, and all I do is share your videos on Facebook to expose what a bunch of evil clowns you all are, right? Um, and that's it. Brittany, intuitive, Brittany, the intuitive cosmic wifey. What does that channel name mean? Well, it's basically her saying, "Oh, I'm God's wife. That's what I am. I'm God's wife, and I'm going to sit here on YouTube and talk about money all day. Oh, how I'm going to be rich." Obviously she uses you, right? Oh, you're going to be rich, or you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to be a billionaire. You're never going to have to worry about bills ever again. It's like, look, there's 60,000 plus people missing in Venezuela, and all that bitch wants to talk about is money. Money, 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 money. That's all she cares about. Yeah? There's nothing about justice there. All she cares about is how much money she's got in the bank, right? And status. And that. And the other thing is, obviously, she's married to a guy called Mark. I'm pretty sure that's what his name is. Because obviously I've listened to a certain number of her videos, and I'm pretty sure she mentioned his name. And the thing is that when I was growing up, my mom, she had a friend, a gay friend called Mark, and he's about 5 years older than me. He's not that he's he's closer to my age than my mom's age, but they were like best friends. And actually, before my mum died, in the years before my mum died, Mark went off. He went back to Scotland and he married, or he got, he had a gay wedding or a civil partnership or whatever with another guy called Mark. So there's two guys called Mark who are effing each other. Um, and they live in Glasgow, I think. Last time I checked. Strange though, before my mum died of cancer, Mark stopped talking to my mum. He fell out. He couldn't be bothered to be friends with her anymore. I spent years doing drugs with Mark and my mum. Yeah. See, the thing is, I grew up. It was like my mum wanted me to be gay, and Mark became, her new gay son, basically. And she spent all her time with him. She wanted to hang around with him, doing drugs. He was a hairdresser, so she would. I mean, she even thought about opening a hair salon with him as well, but that didn't happen. Yeah. So and I had my DJ equipment. I had my turntables, my mixer, and my Pioneer CDJ 1000 Mark IIs. Yeah, I had my Mark II CD turntables. Yeah, I mean, people use all sorts of crazy magic against me, to basically try to make out that I'm them when I'm not. They're just using a bunch of witchcraft to try to siphon energy from me. Um, yeah. hmm Mark II. Oh, right. Yeah. Mark II. Pioneer. Mark II. Yeah. Yeah. A CD. A CD, but yeah, that's right. CD. Yeah. Very CD. Yeah. Anyways, um, people just, they want to talk so much crap about me. They want to say that I'm desperate and I'm a, or, that I'm mentally ill, or that I'm trying to, I'm abusive. Look, I'm God. I'm angry, and I'm totally justified in how I feel. And people want to say that, I'm just some crazy, abusive, loser, magician, wizard guy who's just trying to cause chaos. I mean, the fact is, what's happened in Venezuela, it makes me sad in some sense, because just thinking about the fact that there's men, there's women, there's children, um, and and animals trapped under rubble that are dying, and it's a horrible thing to think about. But this is what I have to go through because I'm God, right? I have to go through this. I can't do it any other way because people won't let me do it any other way. Do you see what I'm saying? On sometimes, when these things happen, it's like in some sense I feel good about it, and in another sense I feel horrible about it. And but this thing's been, this I've been obviously been going through this for a number of years now. What's happened over the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, look what happened in Turkey. Look at all the plane crashes that have happened, um, the wars that have happened, the battles, and riots, and murders, and all kinds of stuff that's happened. Um, and I keep telling people, I keep posting on Facebook trying to get people to pay attention to me and so many people, they want to just they call me a liar, they call me a fraud, they call me a loser, they call me abusive and crazy and stuff like that. Um um and the result is that we live in a world of chaos, which I want to stop. I'm just trying to get to the end of this problem where it's like people actually um, give me what I deserve. Um, then this is another thing I should mention, right? So yesterday, I I ordered I ordered from Just Eat. Um, I ordered from a co-op shop, and it's next to, strangely, it's next to a church called St. Paul's. It's like a St. Paul's church. It's like there's a on the map it says St. Paul's next to the co-op. Um, and yeah, I got a lunch meal deal, so I got my main meal, my snack, and my drink. But the snack that I ordered was a chocolate brownie, but they sent me this instead, a millionaire shortbread. So, and the thing is that sometimes they might not have, maybe they run out of chocolate brownies, and they thought, well, we'll give them a substitute instead. We'll just give them this. I don't know if that's someone just making just someone just trying to do the best that they can, or it's a bunch of clowns trying to ruin my life. But there's all these people. I see all these tarot readings. It's like, oh, you're finally gonna get your money. You're finally getting your money. Oh, look, you got your money now. You're a millionaire. Look at you with your millionaire shortbread. Justice is being served. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. This is demons just want to what is this? It's trying to create an energetic blockage, basically. This is this is trying to say that I've received my millions, that, oh, justice has been served, Grant's getting what he deserves now. Yeah, while witches are doing stuff like trying to sink their I mean, this is the thing. I was listening to Linda Likes Tarot this morning, early in the morning, um and what was um the title of it was basically, well, the thumbnail, it says they played games until you stopped caring. And she went on and on and on. It was a very interesting video, actually. Very, if you haven't watched it, I suggest you do watch it, actually, because what she's saying is very eye-opening, in my opinion. I mean, so in her video, she claimed that last night she was praying to God, and she was trying to get answers, um and that Spirit was saying that she's supposed to go back to this ex that she used to have. And you know she kept calling him the village idiot, and saying that she doesn't want to be with him. She doesn't want to be with the village idiot, and you know and what he did to her was so bad, and that she couldn't forgive. And like, that's not going to happen. Like, God, I can't accept this, and blah 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 blah. She's obviously trying to paint me as someone else, right? She's twisting facts as usual. Obviously, am I her ex? Well, I don't, in a past life, yeah, maybe in a past life, she was Mary Magdalene. That's the thing. She was Mary Magdalene. Um, she also made the point that she's on her period at the moment, and so she's in a bit of a bad mood because of that. And it's like, oh, hang on a minute, isn't it a full moon? Oh, right, yeah, it is a full moon. So, yeah, that's the interesting thing, right? Because there are these witches who intentionally want to sync their menstrual cycle with the moon cycle. Yeah. Um, and why exactly is that a bad thing? Well, you know how in the book of Revelation it talks about the whore of Babylon, right? And how she's drunk on the blood of the saints, right? So if you know the tarot deck, there are two cards. Now let me get my. Can I find my tarot deck? Where is it? Give me a second. Ooh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ooh, here we go. I've got a tarot deck here. Okay. Yeah. So there are two Pisces cards. Okay, in the major arcana, there are two Pisces cards, and one is the moon, and the other is the hanged man. So these are considered Pisces cards. And the thing is I was Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is associated with my past, and my past is, the past is, the moon is what's behind me, right? So my butt is, so this is the magic of this, right? So and also, Pisces, it means fish, and fish, anal fisher, right? So it's sodomy magic. But and obviously, it does say in the Bible that the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is associated with Sodom and Egypt. That's sodomy and bondage. So we got these two cards, the Pisces cards, the Hanged Man and the Moon. And so, the crucifixion of Jesus, obviously this is not exactly the same as, it's upside down, and he doesn't look like he's bleeding or anything, but it's symbolic of sacrifice on a on a cross sort of thing. It's on a T-shaped thing. He's sort of hanging from a tree, isn't he? Some sort of like weird looking tree. And ow. Yeah. The thing is that the blood sacrifice. So, um, women who are syncing their menstrual cycle with the moon. Um, I mean, there's a video I posted on Facebook of a woman talking about it, and the title of her video was "Sacred Bleeding." That's the title of the video, "Sacred Bleeding." Like, and it talks about menstruation. So connecting your menstrual cycle with the cycle of the moon. Why? It's about manifestation. It's about trying to say that the blood that comes out of you is the blood of Jesus Christ. It's a magic it's a magic trick, isn't it? That's what it is. Um I mean, the other thing is obviously, after what Linda was talking about. So this is the thing. Linda doesn't like me. Um I'm God, and she doesn't want to believe that, and she doesn't want to have any, she wants me to vanish. She wants me to go away. She wants me to disappear. She wants to call me the village idiot. I'm God, and what she's been doing is wrong. She's what she's been doing, she's been attacking me with witchcraft for years, many years. And what's her sex life been like? Well, she's been fornicating, sleeping around. I think that's fairly obvious. Why should God love her? Why should God think, "Oh yeah, Linda, you're a really nice person. Clearly you love God and God loves you. Oh yeah." It doesn't really make a lot of sense though, does it? And she's been attacking me with witchcraft. And obviously I'm trying to get her to change her ways, and what's she doing about it? She just wants to keep fighting me. She's digging her heels in, and she's saying that she doesn't want to cooperate. She doesn't want to um comply. I mean, at the beginning it was actually um when this first sort of started, when people started when I became aware that she was actually looking at me on Facebook, you know because the word had spread through the tarot readers, through the tarot community, that I'm on Facebook and I'm doing this thing. um and I felt like, oh right, so she's actually gonna work with me, and I thought, well, you know if she could at least do that, I'd be happy, because I want to get through this. And I don't want to make her feel, do you know what I mean? Like, I just want things to go well. But she, what she was doing was she was playing games with me. She was trying to give me a false sense of, um she was trying to give me a false hope, that she was actually going to work with me, but she was simply just trying to um treat me like an idiot. I mean, she's only interested in one thing: my power, my money. um she doesn't want me to exist. So, and I caught her, and it seems obvious that's what she was trying to do. um the fact is that she's got a YouTube page which is full of videos. She's got a YouTube channel which is full of videos, which is, it's so many spells attacking me. um and she's just going around. I think part of it is the fact that she's under the influence of her own shitty spell work, attacking me, and she just seems to be, and that's the thing, right? You know, her best solution would be to get rid of all that horrible spell work, to be quite honest. Um, but anyways, she clearly doesn't want anything to do with me. I mean, the other thing is obviously that well, there's that film, isn't there, with Linda Blair, The Exorcist, and there's that scene where she has the crucifix. And if you've seen it, obviously I couldn't post, I was thinking about posting it on Facebook, and I thought, you know what, it's probably not a good idea. But I found a different video instead, which I thought was quite funny. Um, but the idea, so Reagan, who is played by Linda Blair, um, she has a crucifix and she's basically stabbing herself. Well, she's using it on herself between her legs, and there's all this blood. And she says repeatedly, "Let Jesus fuck you. Let Jesus fuck you." Um, and yeah, another thing. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Because should I mention that? Yeah, I mean, in one of my previous videos, you might have noticed I was wearing an upside down Marduk t-shirt on my lower half of my body. And um how did that happen? Well, actually, I just don't have, I don't have many clean clothes to wear. I don't have any clean underwear, so I've been making do with. I just thought, oh, actually, you know what? I found a t-shirt and I thought, actually, yeah, go on, I'll just use that. And yeah, I just that's what happened. And I thought, whoa, this is a Marduk t-shirt. Yeah. Um, and then that's the thing, right? Because backwards it spells cud ram, and obviously a ram chews the cud, right? And obviously lamb, ram, the grass, the cud. Obviously there's a magic spell happening there. And I also noticed that that band called Marduk, they've actually got a song called "Let Jesus Fuck You," which is interesting. I've not heard the song, but it exists. It's on YouTube. Yeah. Um, so this is the thing, right? Because there are women who will try to pretend that they're in a relationship with me. They've done all kinds of spells. I mean, for instance, how many times have you seen people who have candles with crystals in them? The whole point, the reason they, if you have a candle and you've got crystals in it, then in a sense, what you're saying is this magic fire wand thing, it represents, because the wand is considered fire, the candle and the wand and the fire is basically, it's well, basically what you're saying, basically you've created a magic object, and it's like saying, well, this is the penis of Christ. Basically, yeah. Mm. So people have done all sorts of magic against me. They try to ruin my life. They try to steal everything from me, and then they try to pretend that they're in a relationship with me, so they can just keep manifesting and stealing and stealing and stealing. Like, oh yeah, I'm married to God. I'm married to Jesus Christ. So I've got, I should be able to access his bank account. I should be able to drive his car, sleep in his bed, live in his house. I can just keep pretending that that's the case, and the universe will let me manifest whatever I want. Yeah, this is basically how people treat me. Um, and and then people call me a loser. They call me the village idiot. Call me all sorts of things. They call me evil. Mm. Well, what else can I talk about? What else can I talk about? That's the other thing as well. Brittany, the intuitive Cosmic Wifey, she put out a video on Patreon. Um, yeah, I didn't watch the actual. I've not watched the video. I'm not paying for it. I simply just provided the link for it on Facebook. Um, I don't even need to watch it. The fact is, I can simply just, you know, I don't have to watch people's videos. I can simply just chuck a load of videos together, and you know, spirits will do the work. So, um, but that's the thing, you're basically saying, on Patreon, what does that mean? Oh, so, pa tree on. So, you're trying to associate yourself with my tree, right? I'm God, I'm Pa, and you want to be in my tree and attack me. That's what you're doing, basically. That's how I look at that. You're trying to use that again. You're trying to say that you're part of my tree. You want to climb in my tree, and then you want to talk shit about me. Yeah. And what was she saying in one of her last videos? She was she's saying, oh yeah, there's this person, this person with a, you know, a, they're of a lower spirit or lower vibe or some shit like that. Out here attacking people on YouTube, you know, um, shamanic healers and this and that and blah blah blah. It's like, like, when did God tell you to do all these things? Who told you? When did God say, yeah, go and open a YouTube account and, get yourself some tarot cards and some oracle cards, do some divination and some witchcraft. Yeah, because that's how you get to heaven. That's how you get to heaven. Now, God never told you to do those things, yet you want to do that. So, and you want to pretend that God approves of what you do. I mean, the fact is that I'm not against people doing well on YouTube. I'm not against that. What I'm against is people attacking me. What I'm against is people trying to steal from me. Um, what I'm against is people trying to say they have a good relationship with me when they don't. Um, there are YouTube channels. There are some that I approve of. Um, the way I look at it is you're either a benefit to me or you're a hazard. You're either, we're either, you know, we either work together or we don't. And that's how I'm going to deal, going forward. That's what I'm trying to do, right? I want people to work with me rather than against me. I mean, does anyone want to see a big earthquake in California? What if instead of South America getting hit, we got North America being hit with earthquakes and volcanoes and eruption? Yeah, I mean, what about that? I mean, that's the thing. It's like I'm one guy, and all these people. There's all these people who've died and bad things have happened, and it's like, well, I don't. It's like I'm one guy, and all these people are dying, because of me. Well, it's because of me. It's because of the world. But the thing is that I'm God. I am number one, whether you accept that or not. I don't have to be professional. I don't have to be polite. I don't have to do you know what I mean? I am who I am. I'm still number one. There is only one God. That's me. There are lots of people who want to be God. Yeah, sure. There are demons that want to be God, but they're not God. All they do is try to reflect me and try to mimic me and try to impersonate me while while refusing to acknowledge me. Yeah. So, you know, people want to complain that my videos, my videos, yeah, okay, they're not the most, I don't have a crazy studio set up. I wouldn't mind having a nice studio setup. I wouldn't mind having, I've actually got microphones. Um, what have I got? I've got Rode microphones, the clip-on ones. I've got a Sony camera, which I haven't used since I bought it. I just couldn't be bothered. Um, I installed DaVinci software on my computer, which I haven't switched on for years. It's been yeah, I built a 5 grand computer and I stopped using it because um, well, I save electricity by not using it, and I just really haven't seen the point in using it. It's a lot, if I'm making so many videos, it's kind of easier just to open, just use a phone or whatever, right? Um, I don't have time to. I'm not going to waste lots of time messing around with video editing software or anything like that. I just, I want to keep things simple for now. Yeah. But people want to complain about, how professional I sound or this or that or whatever. I don't have to do, I'm God. I don't have, I shouldn't have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops for people to accept that I'm God, right? I'm God. I don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops for you. Okay? It's actually the other way around. You're meant to be jumping through hoops for me. Yeah? There is no eternal life without me, right? Um, you're not going to heaven. The only way you can get to heaven is through Jesus Christ. I was Jesus Christ. I am Jesus Christ, the second coming. You can't get what you want um, without me. People want to try to steal from me. That's why there's so many witches trying to steal from me. Um, they want access to my blessings without earning it. That's the thing. Um, think about it as well. Witchcraft. What is witchcraft? Well, I'm witchcraft. I'm God, right? I made the witch, didn't I? I made the universe. I made the world. I made humans. I made man. I made woman. Yeah, I made the witch. I'm the witchcraft. That's right. Yeah, I woke up about 5 o'clock today, and yeah, I had to run to the bathroom pretty quickly. Yeah, definitely ate quite a lot of food yesterday. Yeah, yeah. I don't like. I like the taste of jalapenos, but they don't like me very much. My body doesn't react very well to jalapenos, So I try to avoid them if I can. Oh, let's talk about jars. Yeah, because what's her name? Linda. She was talking about, she put out a short video talking about freezer jars. Oh, someone's tried to do a freezer jar spell on you, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you something. I have a huge jars, right? A huge jars. Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah, ass. I got a huge ass for a guy. Um, yeah, I mean, JRs. Well, a jar. People doing all these jar spells. Um, it's basically butt magic. It's like, oh, this is God's arse, and we're gonna put a container, and we're gonna put all this stuff inside of it, and that's basically all it is. Um, yeah, I've never I've never played around with jar magic or I don't really, I've got a couple of books. I've got some spell books, I've got some magic books that I've never really read. I bought them. I've got a collection of them that I've never had time to read. Um, um, but yeah, I, people want to make things like, witches teas and, you know, different, magic teas, or you can do magic, what I mean? Like people try to do all kinds of magic. And I don't bother with that stuff. I don't need to. I simply don't. I don't have time for it. People want to. There's. This is the thing. Why do people obviously? People. The people who hate me. They obviously realize I'm very powerful. They know I'm powerful. They do. They know I'm powerful. They know I'm very dangerous. Um, but why? Why am I so dangerous? That's the question. Yeah. Why am I so dangerous? What did I do? People want to believe that I must have done some sort of, I'm doing some crazy rituals, or I'm doing some magic that you don't see. Like I'm doing things at home. I must be doing some weird spells or something like that. What you see on Facebook is what I do. Apart from that, I'm either sitting on my bed, or I'm sitting in a chair, or maybe I'm in my bathroom having a shower or using the toilet, um or I'm sitting somewhere eating food, eating or having a drink, smoking cigarettes. That's all I do. That's literally all I get to do. And occasionally I'll go out for a drive in my car. I don't have time for anything else. So yeah. What more can I say? Okay, I'll do a quick tarot reading. I don't, yeah. Sometimes I go days. I don't even bother doing tarot readings. But yeah. Okay, so what do we want to talk about? I shall tell you what. I'll be back in a minute. I need to pee. Okay, I'm back. That was a bit of a rush. Yeah. Anyways, I'll wash my hands. Okie dokie. So, got my tarot deck. So what do we want to talk about? What do we want to talk about? Give us a nice shuffle. Yeah. It's a nice shuffle. Whoop. Oh. Okay. Right. What do we want to talk about? What's the message? Okay, so we've got the Five of Pentacles. So, obviously I can use my intuition and be like, oh yeah, someone's leaving you out in the cold or blah, 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 blah. I don't read like that. I mean, I could do if I wanted to, but obviously, well, how would you read this? Well, it's financial. It could be, well, it's outside of the church, or it's leaving, being left out in the cold, or financial hardship, perhaps, and also, the Hierophant's number 5 as well. All right, so we've got the Three of Cups. So, this suggests, group of people. It's the group of. So the Empress, she's number 3, isn't she? And so, this is the water that's associated with the Empress, in a sense. The group of people, the people who like to go out to the pub, the people who like to party, the people who like to socialize, being left out. And then there's these people who, they're they've got all this water for one another. They like to party, they like to have good times and be happy, screw around, all that kind of stuff. We got the Seven of Swords. Yeah. So the deception, the betrayal, the theft, something like that. Okay, got 2 cards here. We got the Two of Pentacles and the Eight of Swords. Yeah. Right, and then we got the Devil. Yeah. Okay. And then we got the Page of Swords. Whoa. And then we got the Eight of Pentacles and the Moon. Okay. So, yeah. 5 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, 7 of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, the Devil, Page of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, the Moon. So to me, yeah, people who are outside of the church, okay, these are people going, so they don't want to be part of the, they're not the body of Christ. These are people who are, they've gone the other way, right? They'd rather be part of a cult, right? They'd rather be part of some cults, false spirituality, that kind of thing, tarot readers. Yeah, it's, we don't want to be a part of the church, right? Yeah, these people, yeah, having a good time. Yeah, and what do? Right? Their deception and betrayal, fornicating, bondage sex. Yeah, bondage sex. 8 of Swords, it's interference, talking crap, BDSM, You know, this is the thing, right? Because people do BDSM, and then so it's binding. It's a binding ritual, and then at the end of it, once you're done, right, you untie them, right? You say, okay, well, it's this, it's there's this magic of I'm gonna bind you, and then I'm gonna let you go, right? I'm gonna free you. Yeah, the truth will set you free. Yeah, it's that type, it's that sort of magic. Yeah. Um, Page of Swords. So stupid people. Eight of Pentacles. The Moon. So illusions and, well, that's what it is. Yeah, the moon. It's trying to create illusions. It's being a mirror. So people want to use mirror magic against me again and again and again and again and again in order to try to trap me. Starting your reading. So yeah, let's do another reading. What else do we want to talk about? We got the King of Swords. And then we got the Two of Wands. Okay, I got two cards here. Four of Pentacles. The Magician. Six of Wands. The Lovers. Eight of Swords. Seven of Cups. And the King of Cups. So I'll stop there for a second. We got the Three of Pentacles on the bottom. So, King of Swords, that's me, God. Two of Wands. So, is this to do with planning or dominion? I mean, this is what I'm trying to do, right? I tell people who I am, and people reject me. Chaos happens, right? We got all this chaos. And the idea is that people slowly understand who I am, right? Dominion. Control. I'm God. That's the thing, right? People don't want me to be in control. Demons don't want me to be in control. Demons want to pretend like demons want to mock me, insult me. They want to try to they want to try to take my authority. They want me to be irrelevant. They don't want me. They don't. They're afraid. They're trying to evade being judged. Four of Pentacles. Well, so Two of Wands, Four of Pentacles, the Magician, Six of Wands, the Lovers, Eight of Swords, Seven of Cups, King of Cups. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Well, yeah, I mean, King of Swords, Two of Wands, Four of Pentacles. Well, yeah, Two of Wands it's sodomy. because the two is shit, right? And the butthole is shit, right? Because it's a verb, right? That's what it does. Two of Wands. Four of Pentacles. So Four of Pentacles is about being possessive, holding on to things. So it's kind of similar to the idea of BDSM. Also, the Emperor is number 4, and the Pentacle is Earth, and it's also, obviously it has that pentagram, which is Earth, Air, Fire, Water, and Spirit. Yeah. So I have to be, you know, you know, being very rich, having lots of possessions. That is what is meant for me. Okay, but people don't want me to have that. They would rather just give me something false instead and say, well, we don't want to pay you millions of pounds, Grant. We would rather just give you let's give you a millionaire shortbread and just pretend that we paid you money, as an example. And then, lots of tarot readers, they'll say, oh, look at you, you're getting justice, you're getting your money. It's what I would call a piss take. Yeah, taking the piss. Yeah. I mean, that's the expression. If you insult someone, if you make fun of somebody, if you're part of some clown gang, and you want to make fun of God, you want to take the piss out of God. Yeah, God, the fountain of living waters, you want to take the piss out of him. Yeah, well, it's pretty obvious what you're trying to do, isn't it? Yeah, you want God's water, you want God's money, you want God's authority and power and all this stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we got King of Swords, Two of Wands, Four of Pentacles, the Magician. Well, you see, the thing is, because people do sodomy and BDSM, and they do this binding magic, because, I'm going to bind you, and then, and then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to free you. Yeah, the truth shall set you free. Kind of magic. Well, this is the thing, because people do all this sex magic and magic. I have to do something. I not only is it my fantasy, right? So what I actually enjoy, but it's also how I protect myself as well. Because people are doing, because the crucifixion of Jesus is associated with Sodom and Egypt, sodomy and bondage. And so I have to protect my energy. So Six of Wands, this is the victory card, or it's to do with sex, right? Sex is actually another way of saying six. Riding the horse. Yeah, so it's symbolic of sex. The Lovers is number 6. And obviously that depicts Adam and Eve, but obviously I don't think that's what the card's really trying to say. It's I'm supposed to have sex, and that I'm supposed to possess, I'm supposed to have sex, I'm supposed to have money, that kind of thing. So the Eight of Swords, yeah, bondage. Seven of Cups, this is to do with sexual fantasy. King of Cups, Jesus Christ, God, right? So that's what I'm supposed to have. How's that unfair when people have used all kinds of horrible magic to try to keep me stuck, to try to steal from me and leave me for dead? How is it wrong for God, me, to expect justice in a certain type of way, this way? What's wrong with that? How is that unfair? Um, yeah, I mean, so someone like Linda, she might think I'm ugly, and that she wouldn't want to have anything to do with me. She wouldn't want to acknowledge that I'm God. She would rather just call me the village idiot. Um, she feels like she's done nothing wrong and that she doesn't deserve to have to um she shouldn't have to make amends. She doesn't feel like she has any responsibility towards me um after the life that she's lived. She would rather not believe that. The fact is, I'm not saying that she has to. I'm not. Am I forced? Well, the fact is that she's been given the option to love me. If she doesn't love me, then she doesn't love me. But the thing is that I'm God. I created man. I created woman. Um, and you know, if I consider you a horrible person, if I think all you're gonna do is try to steal from me and try to attack me with witchcraft and magic and stuff, then what options am I left with? What can I do with you then? What have I got to do? If you're if you're having a house if I'm having a house party, right, and I've got lots of people in my house, and I've got guests who are unwelcome, well, I have to throw them out. I'll be like, get out. You don't belong here. Um, inviting you was a mistake, or perhaps you snuck in, you weren't even invited. Yeah, like, what the fuck are you doing in my house? Go away. Um, yeah, that kind of thing. Mm. So, really, what I'm hoping for is that, people are going to realize that they've hurt me, they've disrespected me, they've been attacking me, they've been stealing from me, they've been trying to impersonate me, pretending that they're me, thinking that they're me, stealing. They put out stories, they talk about me, and they hate on me. They use information about me to attack me. They're not trying to help me, they're trying to attack me. They're only interested in my power and money that they can try to get from talking shit about me all day long. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that people who've done that to me will realize the error of their ways and will actually do something to rectify it. Something to actually, do something right for once. Do something, try to repair the broken relationship. But the fact is that, well, seems like some people, there are a lot of people who don't want to do that. So, um, and they think, well, I don't, it's so unbelievably stupid. Um, yeah, it is. It's, people want to believe that what do you think I'm going to do? Just quit? Or you think I have a fear of dying? Is that what you think? Um, what are you expecting to happen? What you think things are just going to go magically going to go in your favor? Um, yeah, I will get what I want with you or without you. So, you have to make your choice. Yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Okay, we've got the Seven of Cups again. The Tower. The Hanged Man. So there's a lot I could say about this. So, the Seven of Cups is a very interesting card, isn't it? What's this person doing up in the clouds, looking at what's in the clouds? So like, what can I find up here? So, this is normally interpreted as confusion, illusion, multiple choices, fantasy, and sexual fantasy. Okay. I mean, that's the thing, right? Because it's fantasy, it's daydreaming, isn't it? Daydreaming, fantasy, and sexual fantasy, right? I mean, the seven is associated with the chariot. The chariot is the bed. It's where people go to have sex. The Seven of Cups. Cups are associated with love and emotions. So sexual fantasy falls into this, right? It's there. The Tower, the phallus of destruction. So that is, that's, a lot of women and men have this sexual fantasy. It's rough sex. And then we got the Hanged Man. Yeah. Because, like I said, Sodom and Egypt is associated with the crucifixion of Jesus. If you want to read Revelation chapter 11, you'll find that there. So the Seven of Cups, the Tower, the Hanged Man, and we got the Devil on the bottom there as well. Right, we got the Eight of Cups, Knight of Swords, King of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Ten of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Chariot, Four of Cups, Two of Cups, the Moon, the Fool. Oh, it is a full moon, isn't it? Yeah. So, what we say? Seven of Cups, the Tower, the Hanged Man, Eight of Cups, Knight of Swords, King of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Ten of Cups, Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Chariot, Four of Cups, Two of Cups, the Moon, the Fool. So this is the thing, because I could read this in various ways. I think there are probably multiple ways I could read this. But okay, here's one. Here's one interpretation. So people and their sexual fantasies. You know, they have lots of sexual partners, multiple choices, sexual fantasy. You know, people who scroll on Tinder, you know, looking for their next their next screw, their next nail. Yeah. Um, yeah, the phallus of destruction, you know, the gigantic schlong. Um, yeah, and you know, the hanged man. So yeah. So I mean, because this is the thing, you know, there's lots of ways to look at this. You know, Jesus was nailed to the cross. And so, you know, sodomy is about getting nailed in the two, right? Nailed to the cross. Nailed to the cross. Yeah, sodomy, bondage. The hanged man. So this is talking about, you know, people using sex magic to steal my energy. You know, I took the sins of the world on myself. I was crucified. So people could know how to have a relationship with God. Um, I set the example. I showed people how to be a son of God, right? I played that part. The Eight of Cups, you know, this is like this disappointed walking away, you know, it's walking away. The Eight of Cups is, you know, it's there's no water. It's shit in a cup. You know, it's like, you know, someone who's very thirsty saying, "Oh, please give me a cup of water," and you go, "Oh, here you go, sir. Here's a cup full of shit." You know, it's not a very pleasant thing. It's not a very nice thing to do, is it, to someone who's dying of thirst? Anyway, Eight of Cups, right? We've got the Eight of Cups and the Knight of Swords. Uh, King of Pentacles. Nine of Swords. So there's this cruelty or nightmare situation, this unpleasant communication. And then there's this Ten of Cups. You know, this is the thing. You know, people want to talk. They want to say cruel things about me, and that's what makes them happy. They're like, yeah, let's mock God. Let's interfere in his life. Let's steal from him. Let's call him a loser. Let's call him a nobody. Let's pretend like he doesn't even exist. We're happy. Yeah. Eight of Pentacles. Dedication to craft, witchcraft. The Lovers, right? Because you don't want to have a loving relationship with God. You would rather just screw around with lots of people. The Chariot. Four of Cups. Two of Cups. The Moon. The Fool. So all that really says to me is, you know, people want to use sex magic and their cruel words to attack me. And you know, people try to impersonate me. You know, so a man will try to pretend that they're me in order that they can say, "Oh, I'm God." All the ladies come to me and we can shag. And you can pretend that I'm God, and I can pretend that you're my wife or whatever. You know what I mean? It's people just constantly trying to pretend that they're God or that they're in a relationship with God. while hating me. So it's all about trying to steal my manifestation power. It's all about trying to steal my authority and trying to take it, other people trying to take it from me. We've got the lovers, the chariot, the four of cups, self-serving disinterest. Two of cups, the moon, the fool. So people doing moon magic, sex magic, creating illusions. Yeah. Yeah. I live in a world full of people who behave like they're clones, right? Clones or clowns. Yeah, the world of clowns and clones. Mimic, copy, pose, pretend, steal, lie, attack me. Yeah. Steal, accuse. People always, there's so many people who project. They try to say that I am what they are. That I'm the evil. I'm them. I'm the evil one trying to steal from them. Intellectual property belongs to the creator. Oh yeah, that's right. Because yeah, all these YouTube channels, all these creators. Oh, that's right. They're all God, are they? They're the ones who created the universe, yeah? Because they're a YouTube creator. Look what I created. I created a pile of shit. I created the universe. Yeah. It's not hard to create something, is it? Anyone, you know what I mean? It's, grab yourself a pencil and a piece of paper and just start scribbling on it. Oh, look, I created something. I'm a creator. Look at me. I'm so special. I think I must run the universe or something. People trying to accuse me of stealing their content. In what sense? Oh, so you're going to say that people who share your content on Facebook or X or a social media platform, that's a form of stealing, is it? Rubbish. The people who mimic me and impersonate me and try to attack me with their magic stories, well, they're everywhere. I could go on Sky News, BBC News, ITV News, Fox News, CNN, or whatever, and pick any news channel from any country. Um, all over YouTube, TikTok, it's all over the place. It's everywhere. The newspapers, um, movies that come out in the cinema, trying to do spell work against me, mimicking me, mocking me. Yeah, you remember that film that came out, the Joker? Yeah, Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, well, in a sense, it was impersonating me. What kind of guy was he? Well, he was a guy. He lived You know, he was a clown, he was a loser, um, he was abused, um, you know, father problems and mother problems, and being rejected by people and attacked by people and treated like he was some sort of freak, you know, a guy suffering from mental problems. Um, and how, you know, eventually what happened was he lost, he went crazy, didn't he? And he decided that I've had enough. I'm gonna get revenge on people because, yeah, because I've had enough. And you know, and everyone's like, oh wow, this film's so great, you know, it's such a cool character, like, see how he goes from like this really sort of depressed guy, you know, he takes all this abuse from people, but then he's like, he stops caring, and he just laughs about it, and he just, you know, he picks up the gun, and he just, you know, like that scene where he's on the subway, you know, as the Wall Street trader guys, um wanting to pick a fight with him, and then, you know, he ends up gunning them down, as an example, right? um well, you know, I've lived a life of, you know, trying to love people, trying to get along with people, trying to be polite with people, um but always finding myself in a battle with people, people trying to compete with me, or people trying to put me down. And that's the thing, you know, I've you know, people have done a lot in my life to try to pull me down. Um, you know, there's always people trying to trip me up or pull the rug from underneath my feet. Um, you know, they're always trying to lower me to make themselves feel better. You know, they don't like my light. It's that simple. They don't like my light. They don't like, yeah, they don't like me. They don't love Jesus. They would rather listen to demons, and they would rather fight with me. So, yeah, the battle continues. What's going to happen exactly? I don't know, but chaos, yeah, definitely chaos. More chaos. Um, Death, destruction, and hopefully, you know, people will, I hope more people will do what's right, do the right thing. Um, you know, I'm not just talking about doing things with their right hand or anything like that. I'm just saying that, yeah, you know, they either love me or they don't. If they love me, then, you know, we have a future together. If they don't, we don't have a future together. It's that simple. Okay. Um, you know, what was it Robert Breaker was saying in his video? I think it was understanding salvation. I think it was that video, or maybe it was a different one, but he was talking about, you know, how, you know, the fact that Jesus died on the cross for your sins so that you could go to heaven, and, you know, you treating God like he has more to do, like you treat God like he hasn't done enough for you. Yeah, so example, Linda, right? She wants to call me the village idiot. I'm not good enough for her. I don't deserve to have a relationship with her. I don't deserve to have any love from her. She thinks that I should be treated like disposable trash. Um, yeah, I mean, you know, she treats me like I haven't done anything to deserve her love. You know, she sits there and she'll talk about Jesus Christ. She'll talk about, you know, she likes to say things like, "Oh, rebuke it in the name of Jesus," and she'll say things like that. But it's her words are meaningless because she uses the same mouth to attack God. Me, she attacks me constantly. That's her. That's her entire. That's all she does. That's her entire YouTube channel. It's all about hating me. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because her channel is called Linda Likes Tarot. And what does she do? She uses it to spew her hatred at God. That's basically all she does. Spewing hatred at God. Yeah. You see, the thing is that, people were told to live a certain way. You need to. A Christian should live their life a certain way. Everyone gets tempted by things, whether it's sex or money, fame, fortune, all that kind of stuff, status, people, groups of people, trying to fit in with the crowd, all that kind of stuff, right? Being friends with the world, blah blah blah. Um, but the thing is that you've got to be able to understand what does God want for you, what does God want you to do, and why you should avoid certain things. And you have to be prepared to make those sort of sacrifices. Yeah, you got to be prepared to say, okay, I'm not going to let myself get tempted by that thing. I'm gonna you know do what God wants me to do. But obviously, there's a lot of people who give in to temptation, and they would rather do what the thing. They would rather give in to that temptation, and you know, they would, things like sex and money, and um, but they also want to try to pretend that God's okay with it, that God approves of what they do. Um, which is, well, they're lying. They simply want it both ways, don't they? They want to give in to temptation, but they want salvation at the same time, don't they? They want both. Well, it's not good enough, is it? It's not good enough. If a man has a wife and she sleeps around with other men, and she spends all his money on handbags and shoes, and he's got nothing left for himself, what's he gonna have to do with her? Get rid of her because she's a problem. That's an example, right? As an analogy. Um, yeah. All I'm doing is what I have to do. I explain what I do. I explain who I am. I explain my thought processes, so some people will understand, but obviously most people won't. Um, most people will choose to hate me instead, and they'll choose to keep going against me, and that'll be that. That's their end. That's their funeral. Um, I don't want people to think I'm being unfair. I don't think I am being unfair. I'm God. I'm the creator of the universe. I created you and I created everything that you love, that you like and you love. Um, I created everything. So I deserve to be number one. And it's important that I am treated as if, well, I am number one. I'm the creator. I'm the most powerful. I'm your life support system. You all depend on me, whether you accept that or not. And I have to protect my energy. I need people to respect my power. It's a strange thing, being me, because it's like, in some sense, I'm kind of like a delicate flower. But I'm the most dangerous thing that exists at the same time. Um, people, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. My energy, the way that my energy gets absorbed by other people, people absorb my energy very easily. And so, I have to I have to protect my energy. Um, from being, I don't want just everyone absorbing my energy. So I have to, prevent all those leakages. Um, in that sense, I do need to, in some ways I have to, well, it's best that I do protect myself. I don't want to be approached by people with evil intentions all the time. I don't want to be surrounded by people who have evil intentions towards me, because they become a drain on me. Um, and when people try to drain me like that, well, when people, when there are lots of people trying to do things like that to me, then, well, all we're going to get is a battle and chaos. So, so Brittany, the intuitive cosmic wifey. Who does she think she is? Does she think that her husband is cosmic? Is that what she's trying to say? Does she, you know, um, it talks about in the Bible about, um, evil spirits that try to set themselves above God. Who does she think she is? What does she think she's trying to do? Why couldn't she have picked a more suitable name for her YouTube channel? Yeah. It's strange though, isn't it? All these people, they will accuse me. They think that I've stolen God's name for myself. Like I'm just claiming that I'm God. Um, and that I'm a fraud. Well, obviously, demons, that's exactly what they would say about me. What else would they say about me? Of course, they don't want to acknowledge who I am. I'm good. If I want to smoke, I can smoke. If I want to do drugs, I can do drugs. If I want to get drunk, I can do that. Why not? It's my choice. Yeah, that might not be what you expected of me. Um, but then again, what's a spirit? A bottle of whiskey's, you would call that spirit, wouldn't you? Is it any wonder I grew up being an alcoholic when I was surrounded by alcoholics as well? I was surrounded by drug users and alcoholics and smokers. That's how I grew up. Is it any wonder I fell into that trap? Yeah. Hmm. People, you know, well, yeah, I eat what you would call junk food and processed food. But then, you're all on your computers. Computers have processors, smartphones have processors. Um, and you try to use all this computer magic to try to trap me, to attack me, to try to siphon energy from me. And it's like, well, yeah, I eat a lot of processed food. Yeah, I do. I would rather not. I'd rather be eating healthy food that makes me feel good, look good. Um, yeah, yeah. Well, and a bit of junk food as well, you know. But yeah. No, I would like to feel healthy. But the fact is, I do what I feel like I need to do. So, and I'm getting, obviously I've made a lot of progress. Have I made progress or have I not made any progress? Do I have the tarot community paying attention to me, or I do, don't I? Yeah, I do. So I am making progress. I am getting closer to where I want to be. And when that's done, I can, yeah, things will change. I'll be able to live my life differently, which is what I want. Yeah. Anyways, um, yeah. The thing is there's so many people they're incapable of humbling themselves before God. They want to talk about themselves being special, or they do videos. You're special. You're gonna be a millionaire. You're gonna be, um, you're gonna have everything you want. You're gonna have this. You're gonna have that. They're trying to steal and they're trying to attack me. Right? They're trying to steal from me. They're trying to attack me. Those sorts of people, and it's like, well, yeah. What was I gonna say? I think I'm a bit tired. Um, it'll come back to me, maybe. Hmm. So yeah, people are incapable of humbling themselves. Um, there are people who want to keep trying to make out that they're on my level, that they're equivalent with God or above me. That is really not a good way to form a relationship with your creator, God. Um, that people need to show that they respect my power. People need to show love. for the person who created them, who gave them so many things, so many blessings and grace, so much grace, so much time to figure things out. You know, people have been given a lot of time and a lot of opportunities. You know, there's been a very long grace period. Yeah. Um, you know, and what have people done with it? Yeah. So obviously I've given a lot of warnings and I've tried to I'm trying to give you the best advice I can give you. Right? I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. As simple as I can. So, you know, what people choose to do with that information, we'll find out. Yeah. Anyways, I think I'll end the video here because, yeah, it's been long enough. So I'll leave it there.